I am super organised. I work full time. I run a YouTube channel posting every single week. We go on a lot of adventures. Every time there's an annual leave or a long weekend, I make sure we're away having adventures with my young family. I have a 2 and 3-year-old and a wonderful husband, but I have to be mega organised. Hi, I'm Emily and this is my channel, The Organised Mum Lifestyle. I post every Friday with videos about organisation, planning, what we get up to with our adventures and living in New Zealand. I plan for my future self. There's a lot of things that I do that I look ahead and I am so grateful for what I did to past self. So here's some of the tips that I do to make sure I'm organised and I'm grateful to my past self. I meal plan. I'm a big fan of meal planning. Have a look, I've got a video, I'll put a link to it here, about meal planning and what I do. It means I can plan all the food for the week and we save money. I plan ahead, looking at all the meals, where I am I at work that day? Do I need an easy meal? Have I got children around my ankles who are starving? I make sure I've planned the meals. I know what everyone likes. We've got a selection of about 10 meals that we like on cycle. They're not very exciting and I am no chef. I want to make sure that our family eat healthy every day at a similar time, but it's not taking too much of my time to try and create gourmet creations every night. Calendar reminders. I'm very digital. I love my digital calendar. It's all beautifully colour coded. I share with my husband. I put in reminders. So I've got reminders for car servicing. I've got reminders for car tax. I've got reminders for insurance, direct debit payments. I've got notes when we get paid. I've got notes when things are due. What I find really helpful is putting in monthly and yearly reminders. So if I pay a bill annually, I put a reminder in every single year so I don't forget it this time next year. I'll often think of things and think, right, I need to remember that a few months ahead, so I'll put it in the calendar. For my day-to-day planning, I do things like phone reminders. There's quite often a reminder on my phone to remember the kids' bike day or something on at daycare, and it will go off at 7 a.m. and it will be on my phone on the screen and it won't go away. That's really helpful. I even have a reminder every Thursday to put the rubbish out. I find it quite useful when I think of things to tell Siri to add that reminder to my phone and for it to go off at a set time. So sometimes I'll be driving, I'll just press my AirPod and ask Siri to put in a reminder for 7 a.m. tomorrow. I also plan my year. I've just finished doing that now as we're just coming to the end of January. I plan the whole year. I look at all the public holidays, the long weekends. I make sure I've got things booked up that might be difficult to get. I planned a weekend in October this year, last year, ringing pretty much 365 days ahead, knowing it was something that I didn't want to miss out on and that they would get fully booked on that date. I look at what we've got coming up and events. I'll schedule in weekends where we want to go away to try our best to avoid events, things like the Santa Parade, things we want to stay at home for, birthdays. As much as I possibly can, I try and plan and block it. I work full time and so does Daddy, so we look ahead at long weekends, we look at annual leave allocations in making sure we're making the most of our lifestyle and making the most around commitments that we've got with work and what we can do. Christmas comes around at the same time each year, so have a look. What do you need to get organised for Christmas? When do you need to start? We go on our big holiday at Christmas, so I'm already organising Christmas now. I've put it in the calendar. I've booked campsites for Christmas Day and for Christmas and New Year because they get booked up years ahead. That is the height of summer here in New Zealand and it's a great opportunity to spend time with family. It also means with the public holidays, we use less annual leave so we can save annual leave for later in the year. So that's our big time for going away. This year we went to the Bay of Islands and you can watch that video here. And this year I'm planning quite a big trip around New Zealand as I've got a little bit more annual leave to work with. Money. I pay deposits for campsites and weekends when I book them so that it spreads out the cost for some of these trips. I also pay by direct debit, paying on loans and payments, again setting reminders in my calendars when things are due to be renewed, making sure I know that that's due that month so I can't afford certain things. It's a juggle as with everybody, but just making sure I'm planning ahead and I have an idea of what's coming up so there's not too many unexpected surprises. I do daily, weekly and monthly resets. Daily, things like doing the dishwasher every morning whilst the kettle's boiling. I'm really grateful for that when I come back, especially if I work from home, I've dropped the kids off, come back and I can get straight into work and I haven't got to do the dishwasher. I'll make sure I put a load of washing on every single day. I'll do something with the washing machine, put things away, put it in the tumble dryer, making sure it's keeping going so the washing monster doesn't catch up with me. Weekly resets, bathroom cleaning, kitchen cleaning, spreading that over the week so it's not all on one day. Every night I'll lay out clothes in the morning for the children, they'll have in the basket ready to go. And if I'm out early in the morning, I'll put my clothes out so I don't have to make a decision that morning. I've even been known to put my tea bag in my carry cup ready to go the next morning because I don't want to have to think about even making my cup of tea. One of the big things I do is declutter, keeping on top of stuff. My stuff, children's stuff, things that comes into the house. If you've got less stuff, it makes things easy. I am not a minimalist, but being on top of stuff that comes in and comes out means you've got a lot less tidying to do. Yes, my house is still full of children's toys and stuff, but just keeping on top of things that are broken, things that you don't need anymore. Keeping on top and doing that as part of my monthly reset is something I highly recommend. Mental and physical fitness. I have to say I am no expert at this as I am very busy and it isn't high on my priority, but particularly mental fitness, just taking a bit of time to have a walk in nature. I like to do a bit of yoga. I'll often do this before the kids get up on a YouTube video from home, just taking that time to move your body. I love going out on the paddleboard. As you'll see from the videos, I love going out on the paddleboard. Often I'll do these things with my children. We'll often do lots of walking and out in nature, but if you can take that time on your own, it's definitely valuable. Something I'm definitely grateful for my past self is my personal development. I do love reading books, but I do not have time to read a physical book. But Audible is amazing. I've had Audible for nearly 10 years and I have nearly 200 books on there that I have read or listen to. I have a bit of a drive to work on those days that I go to the office, so after I've dropped the kids off, I put an Audible book on and really enjoy listening to personal development books. I previously did a master's and I did it online over 4 years, during which time I had 2 children, and I was so glad I could do it online in distance learning, and that was something that was a real investment to myself, and I'm glad I did it. But it doesn't have to be a formal course. Just watching YouTube videos. I learned how to do YouTube pretty much by watching YouTube videos with an AirPod in whilst cooking dinner, whilst cleaning, whilst doing other things. So what can you do in your personal development? Is that listen to books? Is that watch YouTube? Do you need to do a formal course? I'm certainly grateful for the investment that I've put in to myself on formal courses and also free courses and books that I continue to listen to. And my final piece of advice is don't put things off just because. Just because the kids are young, just because you're young. What can you do with the kids? Yep, I don't have time to do much physical fitness. I cannot go to the gym. I cannot leave the kids. I don't find time to do workouts, but I do a lot of stuff with them. I try and find a bit of time in my lunch break to go for a walk. What can you do? Things like money. Can you start investing early? Can you save that little bit of money? As you see, we go on a lot of adventures with our children. We're so glad we've travelled all of New Zealand and we can highly recommend places, and we go there with our children who love visiting these places. It doesn't limit us just because we have small children. We will be adapting our travelling as the children get older, probably going more international and going to different places. But where can you go to at the age your children are? Or the age that you are? What places can you go to? What things can you do? Just because is not an excuse. Thank you for watching. What can you do today to make your future self grateful? Think ahead, you'll be grateful to your past self. I post every Friday with videos on organisation, our adventures, living in New Zealand and our young family. So I'll see you in my next video.